looking at which is longer, 6 feet or 70 inches. And of course, 6 feet is longer. So I wrote that on my paper. You should write it on yours as well. Okay, so we're on page 231 still. How many pints in 24 quarts? Okay, this is not hard to do at all. Talking about quarts and pints. Remember, try to write the larger unit of measurement first. Okay? And of course, we're using the larger one first. We're going from horse to fly, and we're going to multiply. So, 24 quarts, 24 quarts equals how many pints? Okay, 24 quarts. Sorry about that. 24 quarts equals how many pints? All right, let's look at our conversion charts. We're looking at quarts and pints. Remember, we're going horse to fly, multiply. Okay, horse to fly, multiply. Okay. Now, let's look at our chart for one moment. Quarts to pints. We're looking here and we see that there's 1 quart equals what? 2 pints. You also could have used your big G chart, right? Because you have what? 2 pints equals 1 quart. That's because one queen has what? A prince and a princess, right? All right, so that's the number that we need to multiply by. So 24 times 2 is equal to 48, right? So 2 quarts equals 48 pints. Okay? All right, so how many pints is 24 quarts? Of course, 48 pints. Okay, let's look at the next one. Which weighs more, 5 pounds or 100 ounces? Look at your chart at the top. Which weighs more, 5 pounds or 100 ounces? So what are we comparing here? We're still looking at horse to fly, right? Horse to fly multiply, because we're comparing pounds and ounces. So pounds will be first, of course. 5 pounds, 5 pounds is greater than or less than or equal to 100 ounces. Now we're going from pounds to ounces. Larger unit to small unit. Of course, horse to fly what? Multiply. So I put my H over the top for pounds. My F over top of the 100 ounces for ounces. And of horse to fly, what goes in the middle? A multiplication sign. We're multiplying. Okay. So we're going to multiply 5 times some number is going to give me the amount of ounces. So 5 times what? 5 times what? Okay? Let's look up here at the chart. 1 pound equals what? 16 ounces. See here? 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Okay, so what do we multiply by? We come back and we multiply by 16. So 5 times 16 will give us our ounces, right? All right, so let's just go over to the side, and you know how to do this. Go over to the side and cross multiply. 16 times 5, right? 5 times 6 is 30. Regrouping. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 would give me 8. So my answer is 80. So 5 times 16 is equal to 80 ounces. So what do? Underneath that 5 pounds, I just simply write 80 ounces, right? And I'm comparing it to 100 ounces. So of course 80 is smaller than 100, so let's do our dot method. 80 would get 1 dot, and of course 100 would get 2 dots, the larger number, and we connect the dots. So 5 pounds is what? less than 100 ounces. So my answer, which weighs more, 5 pounds or 100 ounces? Of course, which weighs more? 100 ounces. So that's my answer to number 4. Let's look at number 5. If a recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, how many teaspoons is that? We just finished talking about tablespoons and teaspoons earlier in our lesson, right? So let's look at our chart. Tablespoons to teaspoons, okay? So if I write it first, let's see, 2 tablespoons is equal to how many? TSP stands for teaspoons. So 2 tablespoons equals how many teaspoons? Look at my chart. 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. So that's pretty easy. All right, so first of all, we're multiplying, right? Because we're going from tablespoons to teaspoons. So that's horse to fly, multiply. So that'll be 2 times what number? Again, go back up to the chart. 2 times what? Always the larger number. 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is going to equal what? 6, right? So I'll put 6 here. So 2 tablespoons equals 6 teaspoons. Okay? You also could have done repeated addition for this and got the same answer. You could have simply said, I know that 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons, right? And if I do it again, 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. And when I add those two together, 1 plus 1 is going to give me 2. So 2 tablespoons equals, what's 3 plus 3? 6. 6 teaspoons. There it is there. And I did it by adding. Or you can just simply multiply 2 times 3 and it will give you 6. Okay? So my answer to my question is, if a recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, how many teaspoons is that? And of course, we now know that that would be 6 teaspoons. Okay? All right, guys, that's the front of the chart. That's another front of the workbook page, page 231. I'm going to turn it over in just a moment, and that'll be the beginning of a new video. Okay? Bye-bye. Don't forget to check Class Dojo.